Alrighty, I am back up here again, and it's been about a week since I've been up here last. I ordered a dipstick tube. That's actually an OEM one for this transmission. This transmission is a 700R4, and probably never gonna see that. It is not leaking that I can see. It's a little wet around where I put it at, but I had it on there for the past hour and it's not dropped a single drop of transmission fluid. So compared to the old one, I say we're winning, but we'll see what happens when the transmission is spinning. So far, I got the return line just about done. I'm in the process of getting ready to cut a couple more pieces of the fuel line down underneath here. And going underneath. This is how got everything going down here. This will be the fuel going up to the motor. That's one of the fuel filters, and that goes up top that way, up the firewall, and then over yonder here got it dressed up right there. And we got it going up top on this half of the transmission. She looks a little wet right here. Don't mind the squeaky creeper. Now, I got different colored zip ties here. The blue one is my return line, and the other one's going to be yellow for fuel going up to the engine. And then what I got going up here, since we removed the old tank, it gave me a lot of space right here. So, oh man, too much junk down here. So I got the two lines coming in right here. They're coming up this way. I got them coming up and then around here and going that way. That's still where that clamp is. That's where the fuel pump is going to be. And as you can see right there, that can be my access hole to get to it. But right in here on this fuel line, which this one's going to be for the pump, I got to cut it somewhere in here. I want to give me a little bit of slack so that way when there's pressure in here, the fuel line can move. Because you want to have a little bit of slack so that way the fuel line doesn't pinch and then blow out or whatever. So I am slowly getting there. Finally. Yeah, this made a huge mess. And I think it actually slowly leaked from the last time I was up here a week ago. So it was not like that much last time. So I put a fresh piece there. So that way when I leave, I come back in a couple days to see if it's leaked any. If it hasn't leaked, then we fixed our issue. I think that looks pretty okay for what it is. I'm sure I could have done better, but for the time being, this I might try and button up here. That way it's not hanging so low. But I think once I get that fuel pump on there, we'll see where we're at. Yeah, I got a yellow zip tie right here to indicate my fuel inlet. But I got the 2 hoses running through here, and they're gonna go right here. I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do about that hole down there, because that was for the I think the relief hose or something for the fuel neck. I think that was part of it, but the big one was for the fill tube. So I'm going to have to figure something out for that, because I don't want water pouring in here if in case I get caught in a rainstorm in this. Yeah, this is what the fuel tube is here. This hose, which I think I lost a grommet for it, that would have went in that hole on the bottom with a grommet, and that obviously went in the big one. But yeah, I got to get this pump here put on, and then see where I got to cut the hose at, and go from there. A little bit of oil. They cover the fuel pump in oil to keep it from rusting. So I will come back when I got the hose attached to the pump here and a hose attached to the tank. So see you guys then. Alrighty, I just got done putting the lines in, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous. Now, I don't have any of my electrical items on me. I need butt connectors so I can wire up the fuel pump. But these bends and whatnot are kind of concerning to me. Especially right here. I could have probably gone a little shorter to try to avoid that little bend. Because I was trying to get this as straight as possible, but I mean, it's in there. It's not really loose. Neither is this. Yeah. A little nervous because I'm running 2 different lines here, because when I ordered the fuel line, they didn't give me an option to order just anti-static in the length that I wanted. So I just got the regular old PTFE line for the return line here, which is this one. And I should have used the same line all the way through the whole thing. But the normal PTFE, which is white in this case, I believe it's this blue one here. This is the normal one. Ouch. That's still the same one. This is the anti-static. The anti-static went on the olive a lot smoother than the white one. Not the white one, but normal PTFE white one, whatever. And what I mean by olive is, let me pop up open one of these ones here. Oops. Set down for a second. This is what I mean by the olive. This little chrome piece right here. Basically, what you do with this is you take this little guy and you come over to something about a shoe, and I'm not liking it. Come over here to this line, and God, I'm trying to think of how the hell to do this one-handed here. So you take this line and you see the steel mesh there, you pry that off to the side, and that'll expose a gap between the steel right there and the rubber hose that's right in between there. Then you take this guy and you shove it in there like so. Then you take this tool here and shove it in said hole, and you push down on it until this maxes out. And my camera sucks, but there's a lip at the very top here. That's where the edge of that hose touches. Once it touches that lip, that means it's fully seated. Now, on the anti-static, which is this one in my hand, I was able to do that on all of them. The white ones, I was having a hell of a time trying to... There's a screw in my shoe. I was having a hell of a time trying to push down on it. Yeah, it's not the best cut in the world, but now I see why they recommend putting oil on this when you go and push down on it, because it gives it a little bit of lubrication to push down on it. The anti-static, I didn't use the oil on. It was able to go on just fine. But this right here, there's a couple fittings that I had to put I had to use this on, which was the return line, which thankfully it's just 2 fittings. 3 fittings, no, 2 or 3, I don't know. One fitting. Yeah. Or no, 2 fittings. Because there's one there going to the regulator. And then the 90 that comes all the way back here to the tank, which is the blue zip tie there. So if something blows, it's going to be the white return lines, or the lines that are PTFE normal, not static or anti-static, which would be this one here and this one here. So, and I even think from the fuel pump down there going up to the engine, I think is the white one. So if anything does happen, it's going to happen along the white line. So I got to find my electrical connectors, figure out what does what with the fuel pump wiring, which I have an idea what they are. This is for the sending unit, and this is power to the pump. So this is going to go down in that bottom hole there, which is this grommet. So that'll go down there. Then this is going to run across underneath to this plug here, which I don't have the other end of that plug, so I'm going to have to cut this off and wire the two together with a butt connector. So then we'll power the pump and prime the system and see where the leaks are going to be. I will be surprised if I don't have a leak, because normally anything I do the first try, half time it doesn't go to my liking. So that is where I'm at on the car. I will do another part where it show the testing. So I'm going to end it for this video. So see you guys in the next one.